Hey everybody, Paddy here. Now thank you so much for watching and listening to TFN, which is the FN News. Now it is the antidote that we need today, this week, this year. Positive news with solutions and heroes for all of us. Now here's what's coming up on this show. First of all, our great Kiwi. You won't believe the positive energy of this woman. She's the Young New Zealander of the Year and she will make your day. She is a hero. And how good would it be if we hosted the America's Cup in New Zealand again? How good would it be if our politicians had any vision and any guts? I'll tell you exactly how good. And we've got an incredible aerospace industry packed with Brainy Kiwi. Today, the Brainy Kiwi building a solar-powered plane that will basically launch, then fly forever. How good is that? Now, right, it is time to get into it, time to meet our great Kiwi. Okay, it is a great day because I get to introduce you to a tech expert called Eteroa Lafaele. Now, for her incredible work, she has earned award after award, last week becoming the Young New Zealander of the Year. But what she really cares about is making the world better for Kiwi. And I'll tell you one thing, she'll make your world better. Thank you so much for joining me. This is exciting. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Are you as excited as when you won the awards at the Kiwibank Awards the other night? Because you were pretty excited then. I was there.
I was shocked. But the main thing was to uplift the kaupapa that we're doing, be memorable, and win or lose, at least we make sure that the work that we do gets the attention it needs.
Well, it's certainly getting some attention now, and it's amazing work. Tell me now about the kaupapa behind your work at the Whaiwhawhale Fund. You know, it's all about bridging the digital divide, isn't it? The divide for Pacifica in terms of, you know, they're hardly involved in tech, basically.
Yeah. So at Whaiwhawhale, we're an all-purpose organisation where we amplify our Pasifika people in tech. How we do that is we create community and foster them with skills, experiences and knowledge so that when they leave or when they come through any of our deliveries, that they become that transformative leader, change maker into the digital world.
Yeah, so talk about the problems, because for someone like me,
Yes.
I've been surrounded by technology all my life, Pākehā male, technology. I'm trying to get rid of technology out of my life rather than get it in. But what's it like in the Pacifica world? Like, how hard is it to access? What are some of the stats? Tell me what this divide is.
So the digital divide, I think the best way to explain it is, let's flip the script. So the digital inequity is when there is lack of resource, lack of education, and also connectivity. But then what also funnels through that is also lack of trust. Our people won't hop on something if they don't trust it, if they don't know who the solution holders are behind the tech. So due to this, what we wholeheartedly believe is if this is what's happening with digital inequity, it pipelines into representation of our Pacifican tech. So far, now we don't know if this was calculated correctly, but the stats that are available is that it's 4.4% of our Pacifica make up the tech industry here in Aotearoa.
Whoa, so 4.4% of the entire tech industry are Pacifica.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but
That's tiny.
Oh, it's very tiny. Some people say, "Oh, it's better than nothing," but it's not about that. We need to really, our aim and our goal is to make sure that we could at least get equal population of our Pacifica people in tech and out there.
Yeah. So what would that be? What's the population roughly?
Probably I'm thinking 8 or 9%.
Yeah. So you want to double it, maybe even more, don't you? Get
Yes.
it in there at least.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're Young New Zealander of the Year. That's cool,
Bless.
isn't it? For this work, isn't
Yes.
it? For this mahi. You know, why did you want to go and do it? Because you could have gone off, had your own career, done all this sort of stuff. How old are you, may I ask?
I'm 29.
Wow, that is young. Okay, so, well, it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, but why did you choose to go off and lead and try and create something rather than, because, I mean, you could have a blockbuster career, you're real brainy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's true. You don't need to say thank you. Why did you choose to lead something? What motivates you? Deep down.
Deep down,
Deep down. Not just deep down, like deep down.
it's my people. It was my first job as an intern, as a software engineer. You know, I did all the university stuff. To us in our community, that's like a gold medal. I did what was needed. And then when I set foot in my first job, I felt so unwelcomed. I felt like I wasn't heard. And that really hit in my heart, because I was like, man, I'm still not good enough in this area, but I've worked hard, and I found a moment where I was like, man, if I feel like this now, then what will the future of our people will be when they step into roles like a software engineer? So I had to step myself out after that experience in the internship and be like, nah, like, if I want to make change, I've got to make sure that, one, I understand this industry, but two, I need to educate, motivate, and also be dedicated in this mission, so that the next wave, yeah, they might also go through hardship, but at least myself and Julie and Saffron have paved the way to make sure that they can at least get through and create their own journey for the next generation.
Wow, I'm very moved by this moment. So you're in your internship.
Yeah.
You've got the gold medal, all the education and everything, and you felt unheard or unseen. And you think that was because you were Pacifica, because you were Samoan? Or?
Oh, man, honestly. So, like, in my old job, there's a group of 10. Out of 10, there were only 3 women. And out of the 3 women, I was the only Pacifica. And it wasn't just that. It was just like, man, like, there are moments where there are, like, where I just didn't feel appreciated. You know, I did everything to hit the merit of why I should be there. But it was just like my solutions were not enough for the situation that we were in. I'll give you an example. When we have, you know, my community, we had language apps and stuff. We have other people building solutions. But the thing is, they don't understand the way our people is. But the thing is, when I was in my tech, in my corporate career, my diverse thinking and solutions were not ready for this linear way of thinking that this industry was going. So for me, it wasn't because I was Pacifica, it was because the industry is not ready for this multi-diverse, multi-thinking of a person to enter into this field. And I knew that from the get-go was, man, the industry is not ready for this.
So you decided to go and make the industry ready and help others instead.
Well, yeah, that's the kind of thing that we're doing at Whaipawhale, is we are creating our own version of what the tech industry will look like in Aotearoa, by using and fostering these beautiful, beautiful people to build their confidence so that they can actually reshape the industry for tomorrow. Yeah.
Fuck.
Please.
Wow.
But I can't do this alone. This altogether was the strength of myself, Julia, Saffron. And, like, you know, we're a 3-person team. Like, people think we have a 20-people team. No, this is our collective agreement to the mission, because, you know, Julia always tells us we have to be deep performing, not high performing, because we were in an industry where high performance was like get it out, but deep performing is at any rate, we know wholeheartedly that this is the mission and this is what we need to do to bridge the digital divide.
And what do you want to achieve? What is your big goal, your big achievement?
For myself, or
for the Whaipawhale, for Pacifica, what do you want to do? Honestly, what would be your dream?
Our dream, well, from the 1/3 of the Polypuff Girls, yes, is, man, I just want our people to be to have self-determination, for them to be confident in who they are, because once they find identity in who they are, they're able to navigate this beautiful world of the tech world. But also, once they find that self-determination, we're able to then build solutions for our people. We don't need to go and hire people from overseas. We have the solutions. We have the tool to harness that for the future.
Wow. Okay. And one of the things, you know, everybody wants to be connected, and
Yes.
as I said to you earlier, I feel too connected. You know, I just want some of this digital stuff out of my life. I want to create a digital divide with myself because of all of the problems that social media bring and everything like that. And particularly with young people, we know that's a problem.
Yeah.
Have you experienced those problems yourselves, and what views do you have on that in terms of, yes, technology is good, but it is also bad, and how do we navigate that? Because that is one of society's big issues.
Yeah, so, like, when I think about like the negative side of technology, and also, if we round up even around social media and stuff, I wholeheartedly know it's concerning. It's so concerning because if you think about it, we're living in an age where we're connected, but also disconnected in the digital age. And because, if we look around every day, everyone's on their phones, everyone's consuming this tool. And because of that, we've kind of lost the sense of creating and fostering community. And, that always reminds me of the time when, I was a teenager too, and I had my first, I had a cyberbullying situation back at high school. And, man, that really hurt. Man, I didn't, at that age, I was trying to figure out, like, why am I feeling like this? Why am I reacting like this? But also, why is that person doing that to me as well? And while I was navigating that, and because I'll tell you this, I was the type of teenager that I just needed to find a solution. So it took a lot of guts for me, because in my community it's quite taboo to talk about this stuff. But I needed to find a trusted voice to help me navigate all of those whys and to figure out how can I navigate this further, and also to try find healing. But while trying to do that inner work, I need to also harness the tools. So like my best friend is the block button. Because I have to wake up in the morning and scroll through my phone. But I need to create a space where I can feel empowered, but also try and heal myself so that maybe one day I'll unblock. But I needed to do that work, because if I didn't make that choice as a teenager, I'll tell you now, I would not be the person that would be sitting here with you today.
This is incredible. So you decided to block negative voices, negative messaging and everything, and create a positive world for yourself where you have grown into the leader that sits before me.
Yeah, because throughout that, even now, I'm getting coached by my beautiful coach, Shuti. Through that coaching, I learned the art of discernment. I learned the art of understanding what's right and wrong, but also to know what's good for me and what will keep me safe and protect my peace while I'm trying to push through this beautiful work with my sisters.
So that is your message to other young leaders or other young people, is to block out the negative shit.
Yeah, but it's not easy. Like, we can preach about it, but really the crux of it is, the only reason why I was able to do this too was, I'm so proud of myself. I'm also proud of where I come from. So when young people find their identity and they find their truth, they're then able to navigate this world of social media and also tech pathways.
Yeah, they're able to have the good and get rid of the bad, and be like you.
Oh.
Now, very quickly on, diversity and the need for numbers and representation.
Yes.
We're seeing a pushback on that globally and here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. People are pushing back. They call it DEI and they want to get rid of it, and everything's based on merit. Donald Trump says that. Winston Peters says that here. What do you say to them? Because you've seen the other side of it, where you've gone into places where you're underrepresented.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say to people like Donald Trump and Winston Peters, who are against kind of inclusion policies, having seen the other side?
Yeah. I think you're missing out, You're missing out on multidimensional thinking, solutions that you won't get in a linear approach, because that's what we learned when we were navigating tech, was there was always one solution for all. There was also this way of working. But man, if I had the opportunity to tell Donald Trump, I'd be like, Donald Trump, come to my home, sit down, let's have kongai, because I'll show you the beauty of what you're missing now. Not just my culture, not just my parents, but also what this community can offer is the future of your solutions. People are running out of solutions, because, even movies, they're using the same movies again and again. But when you bring different people, different thoughts, different processes, man, honestly, we won't need to watch the same videos or movies again. We'll be getting new and improved things that come through our community, but also with multidimensional thinking.
That is a phenomenal answer and a phenomenal interview. It has been my great pleasure to interview you. You incredible leader. And with Eteroa and her team at Lafaele, I know things will be quickly getting better when it comes to that digital divide. That digital divide will not be as divisive, because she is a force of nature. If anyone can close it, she can. Now, it's time for me to give you a hard-hitting opinion piece with today's How Good. Now, disclaimer, I don't even really like yachting, and I don't live in Auckland. But I reckon the government's refusal to help fund hosting the America's Cup is lame-o and suckful. It lacks vision, and it is actually quite depressing. It is this simple. Hosting the Cup would have given this country a massive positive morale boost. I'm told the government only needed to find tens of millions to support a joint bid with Auckland ratepayers and the private sector. There is no doubt that the business case would have stacked up for this. It would have been a hell of a positive economic boost. A comprehensive report showed that Barcelona made 1.9 billion New Zealand dollars out of hosting the Cup in 2024. $1.9 billion. Now, again, it is this simple. Funding the hosting of the America's Cup would have made New Zealand money. Instead, we have lost a potential $1.9 billion. And I thought this government was about growth. The government is instead hiding behind the old other priorities line, implying that among its cutbacks, it could not afford to fund the hosting of the Cup. That is utter codswallop. It's crap, actually. The government invests in things all the time. Hosting the Cup would have been another investment. Like I said, tens of millions of taxpayers' cash was all that was needed. This reeks to me of a political decision made at the top levels of cabinet, afraid of an anti-Auckland, anti-yachting backlash. But Grant Dalton and Team New Zealand wanted it back here. Auckland Council were keen to step up, and it seems certain these big private backers would have got in there as well. So the blame for this epic fail is squarely on the government. Like me, you don't have to like yachting or live in Auckland to see the benefit. The morale and the money flows. People in Barcelona are literally thanking Kiwis for letting them have it last time. And the next host, either Greece or Italy, will be thanking us too. Sadly, it is this simple again. A weak, gutless political decision from Christopher Lux and David Seymour and Winston Peters. They couldn't be bothered with the potential of getting some flack about prioritising the Cup over school lunches, so they were scared of making a decision, and they were too lazy to get out and sell a vision. And this is not political here. Labour, the Greens and Te Pāti Māori would have done the same. I reckon they would have been just as lame-o, just as weak. Now, I'm meant to be positive here on this show. So how good would it have been if we had hosted the Cup? Real good. How good would it have been if we got a $1.9 billion economic boost? Real good. And how good would it have been if we had politicians with actual vision? Real good. So good luck to either Italy or Greece. This is positive for you. I hope you enjoy hosting the America's Cup. I'm sure it will be real good for you. Now it's aerospace time again, because the aerospace industry in this country is a ray of shining hope, optimism and downright brilliance. Last week's story of Dawn Aerospace rocket that is a plane but is actually a rocket was so amazing that a lot of people thought it was an April Fool's Day prank. It isn't. And that's not the only incredible flying machine. Kea Aerospace are leading the world in a race to get another incredible machine into space.
Philip Zultrop, I'm the Chief Technical Officer at Kea Aerospace, and today we're out here at the Tafa Kea Aerospace Center, and we are currently flight testing our Kea Atmos Mark 1 aircraft. So it's an unmanned aircraft, electric, solar powered. The long-term goal is to fly perpetual. It's charged during the day through the solar panels on the top of the wings, and we fly through the night. And next morning we recharge. So that way you get multi-day, multi-week flight missions. It's often referred to as a HAPS, or high altitude platform station. Sometimes people use high altitude pseudo-satellite.
So is it in space? Is it where exactly is it when it gets up to that height?
Sometimes people like to say near space. I mean, we probably don't use it. We use high altitude. In New Zealand, high altitude starts at 60,000 feet. That's pretty much where controlled airspace stops.
For a PADI term, it's kind of like a cross between a plane and a satellite.
Yes, yeah.
And
it's actually exactly what we used to say, and it's also the functionality of the aircraft. So it's about monitoring. So for example, environmental monitoring, maritime surveillance. So think of illegal fishing, drug smuggling, search and rescue.
And Kea is obviously the name of one of our most cheeky native birds.
Yes.
It's a New Zealand company. Tell us about that.
The main drive initially came out from our CEO, Mark Rocket, who really wanted to build up aerospace here in Canterbury, in Christchurch. New Zealand has some very interesting advantages compared to the rest of the world. So we have lower air density. So for example, right now we're operating in an area where no flights go through. Try to find that in Europe, I would say good luck. Ground risk is also pretty low. So this area here has actually no inhabitants, so no one actually lives here.
And tell us a little bit about how big the plane is, how fast it can go.
So at ground, it's a very slow plane. So we're launching it from a car. The aircraft has to be light, so we don't have the luxury of a landing gear, a takeoff gear. So we strap it on top of a car, launch it. At high altitude, the aircraft gets faster. This just has to do with like air density changes. And then we fly around 100 kilometers an hour. The pilots are monitoring, but they can also actively control the aircraft. So we have everything from fully manual, so just through a remote link, but we also have fully autonomous. We define the mission profile, and the aircraft just does it itself. You like fully hands off, and you just watch.
Now, we shot that at Kea Aerospace Centre, this incredible facility near Christchurch. Now, with the support of the government, money, they have built a fancy runway in one of the world's best places to launch spacecraft. It is expensive, but it's bringing so much good to the country. It's a bit like an America's Cup event. And here's an update. Last week, I was talking about the fact that the Intellectual Property Office of New Zealand, IPONZ, have said that I'm not allowed to trademark my viral phrase. This is the fucking news, because it was likely to be considered offensive, and you can't trademark offensive names. Well, we ran a poll on Stuff over the last few days, and almost 5,000 people voted and agreed 80% to 20% that it isn't really offensive. I'm not sure if that means they'll reverse their decision, but we're going to give it a go, and I'll keep you updated. All right. That's TFN for another week. Now, if you hear of anything or know of anything that can bring some positivity to this country, get in touch. Paddy@tfn.co.nz. See you next week.